Richard Hare. I'm General Manager for Brackets, Facilities and Building Management here at Bibby Group.
Okay. And what are the main responsibilities of your role?
Primary responsibilities, I have responsibility for personnel management of a small team of people, and then management of suppliers, outside service providers. These services tend to be post, courier, receptionists, telephone services, refurbishment works in the building, heating and ventilation, anything at all really within this building. We provide the services for, so that staff can come in, sit at the desk and basically just do their job. Anything else that needs to be done, we as a department or from the outside service providers, we provide it so we can just get on and do it.
Fantastic. What qualifications do you have and how did you actually get into this role? How did you get into this job?
Right, well I left school at 16 with a handful of O-levels, as it was in those days. Initially I went in as an apprentice joiner. I then went into the army for a number of years, ran a security operation for a couple of American airlines down at Gatwick Airport, and then went into retail management before finally coming to office management, and office management where it relates to building services. So formal qualifications, as I say, other than the apprenticeship, which I did, I didn't do any sort of higher education qualifications until I was in my early 40s when I did a business degree. Up until that time though, at various stages, I did various certificates, diplomas, with the various roles that I had.
Fantastic. And what would your advice be to anybody looking to get into this industry in logistics?
Okay, right, well as I say, my role is more facilities management and building services. I've been quite lucky that I've got a generous role. It's not the norm to have this type of role. I'd say for anybody who's trying to come into the business, and certainly this side of things, I'd actually look at either the facilities management side of it or the building services, and look at it from that side of things rather than head straight for a generalist role. It's solely because of my experience that I've managed to get this role and brought this position together. So no, I'd say to someone, go down one side or one route to the facilities management or down the other route, which is the building services side of things.
Okay, brilliant. And what would you say the best parts of your job are?
For me, I think it's not production, because it's not production line that we have for day in, day out. And even after so many years I've been doing this, staff still come up with weird and wonderful problems for me to try and solve, and the department to try and solve on a day-to-day basis.
Brilliant. And what would you say the worst things then about the job are?
There's times, because it's a business and you've got budgetary constraints, and so there's times where some of the services aren't always gold-plated services. You can see perhaps what other companies can do with the services they provide, but as I say, because of the budgets, and you realise it is a business after all, there's not in every area can you actually give, like I say, a gold-plated service on absolutely everything. So you just have to weigh it up. And that's a bit of a shame, because you always want to try and give 100% to everybody.
Okay, brilliant. And what would you change if you could about your career? Is there anything you would change?
I think probably for me is that perhaps if I'd taken the higher education qualifications earlier on, and maybe taken more of a view of a career path. As I say, it's tended more that within the general management role, it's more sort of fallen into it rather than actually being a career path to it. You don't go into general management perhaps as a career. So perhaps, if I'd taken more of a qualification, higher education qualification earlier on, and gone down perhaps a more specific route, then it would have given me more ability to perhaps progress further on through a career.
What kind of skills do you think employers are looking for these days, and kind of what skills are you looking for young people coming into Bibby, or if you were going to employ, say, a young person, what do you think they need?
Certainly having some sort of previous work experience can still be useful to it. Now, be that either coming into work environment or even something like Saturdays or Sundays, working in some sort of environment, because otherwise it does take a long time to integrate within a company. And so with that respect, I think young people need to get out and actually go out and do things, not be afraid. It isn't work is work when it's all said and done. You can have a good time, you can have a laugh in an office or any other work environment, but when it comes down to it, it is still a work environment. And the better you can prepare for that by perhaps getting previous experience elsewhere, is probably the better, makes them better to be able to come into the work environment when they do commit to it. And certainly I think any company would be looking as much for that, but still come with a sense of humour with it, because certainly that helps as well. I always say that greatest form of courage is having the ability to smile even in the face of adversity. And when I first went to training in the army, and some NCO or whatever was shouting at me because I was always at the back, still managed to get through the training, still managed to smile at the end of it, even though I didn't feel like doing it at the time.